Hey guys, okay, so what's happened here is I've actually been out flying it and I've brought it back in again and landed in the field, and as you can see there's a bit of water on the front, and I'm just getting it sorted out for it to go out again. And but what I wanted to show you was a bit where I throw it up into the air, you know, the launch. And to be honest with you, I thought this launch thing was difficult. I'd watched loads and loads of videos all showing different ways of launching. I thought it was really difficult. But for this particular plane, because I can hold it underneath, it is a case of just whack the throttle on, pretty much full pelt, and just let go of it. This is probably the worst launch I've done, this one, but it's still up in the air. And then because I forgot to put, when I first went out flying, when I first did the first flight just before I landed it, I forgot to press record, and this is where I realised and pressed record. So this is the first flight, and it does fly a lot better when it's not covered in water. When it was absolutely throwing it down last night, but I knew it was going to be a dry day today, but it was going to be wet in the morning, because in the morning you get that nice bit of sunshine. So this is why I wanted to get it out in the morning. And this is when it's dry, and it's absolutely lovely to fly it when it's dry FPV. That bit of black that you can see across the front of the nose there, that's to stop any sunlight glaring off the white and making it so I can't see very well. That's why I've put that there. How effective it's going to be, I don't really know, because I've not flown without it. I just saw other people's setups and why they do some of the things that they do to theirs, and I thought that was a good idea, so I thought I'd put some on just to see if it could help eliminate any of that glare coming off the front of the white. But so yeah, this is flying around, this FPV. I said in the last video that I got the FPV gear on there, but I hadn't connected it up. I put it on there so the weight was on there, so I knew so I knew I'd set up for the centre of gravity. Now I've got a 3 amp 4S battery in this, which is quite heavy. I think it comes in at 285 grams. So that's quite a heavy load up the nose. But to be honest with you, it needs it. I don't know what it's going to be like when I decide to gut it and put the flight controller in and bits and pieces. Because it would be nice, maybe, to have all that gear in there. At the minute, this is no stabilisation, this is no nothing. This is just me, a receiver, and the airplane. I've connected up flaps, and that works really well. I do like the way the flaps work. I mean, wow, how much slower does it go with the flaps on, which is brilliant for bringing it landing. And I've also put a very small amount of flaps on as well. So I've got 2 position flaps, and they both take time. So on the main flaps, which is full flaps for landing, it takes 3 seconds for them to move into their position. So it's gradual over 3 seconds, so I don't just get a quick jolt of the craft. And also the same on the way back, but I think it's 1.5 seconds on the way back. So 3 seconds to put the flaps down, 1.5 seconds to put them up, and then it's then it's 1.5 seconds again for sort of around about a third flaps, quarter to a third flaps, and that's so if I'm up a bit higher and I'm just sort of cruising about, I can put the flaps very slightly on, which will help with gliding. I don't know, that's going to be an experiment to how much that affects and how much I need to actually put the flaps down and how much I don't. That's all going to be about experimentation and playing around, but I'm going to do that when it's dry, because today I did notice that this flight is lovely. Loads of, it's just absolutely controllable, not a problem. But at the start of this video where you saw the launch, that flight, the rest of that flight was, it's quite all over the place really. It was okay, but it's nowhere near as easygoing as what this flight is. This is just nice and gentle, pretty slow going, just flying around. But when it's covered in water, when you're underneath, it's covered in water, there's a lot of electronics. Well, say there's a lot of electronics. There isn't. There's the FPV camera and the transmitter. But I'll stick on the end of this, I'll just stick a few seconds of what it's like when it's covered in water. Even worse, even more so than what it is now, because of course I have to keep landing it, and the ground is still sodden from the rain last night. And of course I don't know what's in the ground there. I think it could be potatoes or sprouts. And they're probably about, I don't know, 8 inches high. And there, of course, all the leaves are completely sodden. So this thing's landing just across the top of those, and so it does make for more difficult flying. But this is the first flight, so it's still dry, and it's absolutely fine on this. I feel like I've got full control. And it's just a pleasure to fly. So yeah, the old Bixler 3. I've never flown an airplane before. This is the absolute first time. What you're getting to see is, okay, you didn't get to see me crash it, and I wish I'd taken photos of how messy it was. I mean, it broke out the motor, all that end smashed off. It broke the propeller. But all I did was hot glue it all back together again, and then put loads of the fabric tape around it, which has all held it together nicely. Of course, that's added more weight to the plane, but what can you do? This is my first one, and I'm surprised that it's not incomplete and to pieces. But it just goes to show, doesn't it? It goes to show that somebody who's not flown an airplane before can just set it up with a receiver and get it out. But don't think I came out there and just did that. I did go on the simulator, and I've been on the simulator quite a few hours, probably 20, 25, 20, 24, 25 hours on the simulator with an aircraft like this, and also a wing. And to be honest with you, I do prefer the wing, just because it's a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Nimble, that's a good word. A lot more nimble, the wing, so you can get yourself in trouble a lot easier, but you can also get yourself out of trouble a lot easier with the wing. My wing will be up in the air soon, but it's going to have stabilisation in it. There's going to have the flight control and everything built in there, unlike this. Now, the reason why this looks like this with the camera as well is, even though it's sort of set up for today, I haven't used it for a while, and it's the Owl. It's not the Swift. I usually use the Swift 2, which is, I prefer it. To be honest with you, I think it handles the sunlight better. But of course, the Owl has got its advantages, because it will let you play as it starts getting dusk, or at dawn. It's a lot better with the camera, where the Swift isn't so good for darker. For darker. Yeah, really enjoying the flight. Really enjoying the flight. So you'll actually get to see this come down and land. Even though it seems like it comes down pretty fast, it doesn't, because I put the flaps down, and I get to watch it with my eyes as it comes down. I can see, wow, how slow it's actually going with the flaps down. It's not got flaps down at the moment. It's just as normal at the moment. But it does go really well. I'm really, really, really impressed with it. Really, really impressed. So there was somebody who put on the comment on the line of sight video, the last video, and they said it'd be good if it had FPV. But I did actually say in the video that it does have the FPV, it just wasn't connected. I just wanted to do a little bit of line of sight and get it connected, and then I had to make an adapter so I can connect either 5 volts to the camera and transmitter, or plug in the adapter that I made so I can go straight onto the battery voltage. And this is running from the battery voltage, and the only on-screen display you can see that I've got is from the camera. So you get to see the flight time there, because I didn't press record on it until I'd been flying around for a little while, and I noticed on the screen I couldn't see the R flashing, and I thought, oh damn it, because sometimes when I press the button for record, it doesn't start recording. I've got to press it and then wait, and if I see it flashing, that's good, but if I don't see it flashing, I've got to press it again. And I just took off without checking. But yeah, so that's it. And the video transmitter, I think, is set up for 25 milliwatts at the minute, and I've only got 10 milliwatts on the output of my transmitter, my controller, so I can't really go too far or do anything. And besides, it's my first go FPV with this, and so I don't really want to go far. I just want to fly it around a little bit. There's a little tiny bit of wind around, not a lot, not enough to hinder flying, but I just want to be able to fly it around a little bit, just close by me. So if it does go down anywhere, I can actually go and get it. And I do, after this flight, after it goes up, when I do that launch that you see at the start of this, I was just trying to tie it in, you know, it's silly really, but because I missed the first launch, I actually do put it into a tree. And the reason why is, I think it's because it's covered in water when it's flying, and I'm trying to get it to go roll and stuff, and it's just not doing it. It's taking too much of a delay time, and the tree's right in front of you there. That's where I stuff it into. Not now, but I do end up putting it in the next flight. I stuff it into the tree. I do go and get it, and there's loads of brambles in there, and I managed to cut myself all over my hands, and I've got a few cuts in my face where the brambles got caught in my face as I'm pulling myself up the tree to get the to get it down. But I get it down, and it's not damaged. Not even the prop, nothing's damaged. I think it's good to go. So I think I'm coming in for landing here now, and this is where the flaps are down. Flaps are down, so it's just coming in. It's a lot slower than what it would normally be. But that's it, down. Brilliant. Anyway guys, cheers for watching. This is going to be the first of many to come with this, I think. And I'll catch you in the next one.